What's good, y'all? Welcome to an episode of Buzz Boys. And I know it's been a minute, but now it's really go time. We're a week away from the NBA draft. Actually, 6 days because after midnight. And it's go time, man. For the first time in a long time, the Hornets have a plethora of options. There's a lot that we could do here, man. The simple option A, for me at least, draft Scoot Henderson. That's option A. Just keep it simple, no drama. Don't have to worry about anybody else or what they're trying to do. We're the ones that hold the pick. We're the ones that hold the power, and we just give a Scoot, and that'd be that. And to me, I have plenty of reasons why I feel like Scoot should be the number 2 pick. One, he's working out with Steph Curry. And for somebody like Scoot Henderson, 19 years old, you don't have to question his motor. You don't have to question anything about him outside of he's 6'2", he's short, and his shooting ability. So if we're talking about, his shooting ability, well, now he's working with Steph Curry. And somebody who's 19 years old, who already has the will to improve. Okay, boom, my one flaw is shooting. Okay, boom, I'm in the lab with the best shooter ever. What more can you ask for? It's not like nobody told him to do that. That's what he wanted to do. Actually, I'm pretty sure Curry reached out to him and wanted to put him under his wing and mentor him. So you got to think to the type of person that Scoot is, to where somebody like Steph Curry, almost immediately after getting bounced, because I've been heard about Curry and Scoot weeks ago. So, boom, Curry gets not out of the playoffs, just goes right to working with Scoot. That takes a lot of respect for a rookie coming into the NBA to do that. He could be in Cancun somewhere, but he's here working with Scoot. So that right there. Also, another development. Scoot is being reported at 6'4" in shoes now. He was 6'2" in shoes. Or 6'2" barefoot, 6'3" in shoes. I don't know. He's 6'4" in shoes now. That's a major development. He's 6'4" instead of 6'2". And if you watch any of his tape, you watch that shit and you're like, man, he looks way bigger than 6'2". I've been saying that every time I watch anything of him. He looks way taller than 6'2". He's 6'4". And he's only 19, bro. He just turned 19 in February. So this kid could easily still be growing. Easily. And another thing, he had the better workout. Scoot Henderson and Brandon Miller both worked out this past week. I think Scoot was Tuesday and Brandon was Thursday. And they're saying that Scoot had the better workout. Not really close. What more do you need, man? And the fact that all these teams are talking about trading for Scoot Henderson should let you know that that's how he's being evaluated around the NBA, and that's how he's being valued. I don't know, man. To me, I feel like Scoot is the clear choice. But anyway, let's get back to the options. I just had to, make it known that I want Scoot. If we do choose to keep the pick, I want Scoot. Moving on, option B, Brandon Miller. Great talent, and I would have no problem with us taking him at 3. But to me, this is a 2-man draft, and it has been all year long. Victor, Scoot, just like that. But option B, Brandon Miller. There's plenty of options for the Hornets here, and they have to weigh all of them. B, Brandon Miller. C, trade for Zion Williamson. This is something that has came about around 2 days ago. Shams reported that the Pelicans want Scoot Henderson very badly, and they are willing to part ways with Zion or possibly Brandon Ingram to make that happen. So with that being said, the Zion route, you have to acknowledge it. He's still only 23 years old himself, but there's plenty of off the court things and on the court things, but they lead to him being off the court, that you have to weigh when it comes to Zion. He's played 114 games in 4 years. I mean, Gordon Hayward has played more than that in 3 years. Like, I have to put that into perspective. Us as Hornets fans, we hate when Gordon Hayward's hurt, Gordon Hayward has played 143 games in 3 years. Zion has played 114 in 4 years. So he's off the court way more than Gordon Hayward even is. In 4 years, Gordon Hayward has played 195 games compared to Zion's 114. That's a full season's difference. We have to acknowledge that. Yes, he's 23, but we just expect him to now be a 60, 70 game player every year now all of a sudden. I don't know, bro. Now, with the new CBA, you have to play, I believe, 65 games to be eligible for all NBA and, MVP and all these postseason awards. So, we're going to see how that affects things, how, maybe the load management starts to dissipate a little bit. We'll see. But I just don't think that all of a sudden Zion's playing 70, 80 games a year now. I just don't see it. He's still 23, and, it could be possible. Look at Joel Embiid. He didn't play at all for years. Now look at him, MVP. So, we still have to go down that avenue. But I don't know, man. But not to mention the debacle with the whole Mariah Mills thing, the whole BM thing. I don't know. Zion's a freak boy. And I don't know if that's what we need in Charlotte. But he is from North Carolina, so I don't know. That's option C. D, Brandon Ingram, another player on the Pelicans. He's a very good player. Also ties to North Carolina. He is from North Carolina, and he did go to Duke as well. Now with Ingram, I like him because he is also young, but he's a veteran now. He stints with the Lakers, Pelicans, and when Zion was out, he was kind of like the go-to last year. But even last year, he still only played, 45 games this year. So it's not like he's just out there every game. He's not as bad as Zion, and he has played more games than Gordon, but he's still somebody who can be injury-prone himself. So it's not like he's just the solution, but you can't deny his talent. And hey man, look, if we can get Ingram, a few other players, Miles Bridges comes back, you have to think about it. You definitely have to think about it. And if we were to trade it, at least me, I would take Ingram over Zion. That's just my personal choice, just because Zion has not proven that he can stay on the court. And like I said, Ingram has his concerns too, and some people feel like if you're going to choose an injury-plagued player, you might as well choose the best one, which is Zion. I understand that thought process as well, but it's still not anywhere close. In the last 3 years, Brandon Ingram has played 161 games. Last 4 years, 223 games. So in the last 4 years, 223 games compared to Zion's 114. That's literally almost twice as much. 223, 114, 5 games away from being twice as much in the last 4 years. So, yes, Brandon Ingram has injury concerns. He played 45 games this year, 55 games last year. 2021, he played 61 games. In 1920, he played 62 games. So, the most he's given you is about 60-something games. But like I said, new CBA, that can easily turn to 65-plus games. But he has been played with injury the last 2 years. You can't ignore that. And, even LaMelo's been played with injuries. This team has dealt with enough injuries. If you are going to trade for somebody, you want them to be out there as much as possible. All options have to be weighed, though, and that's what we're doing right now. Moving on to option E, 3-team trade. Now, this is something that the Hornets could do if we aren't interested in Zion or Ingram, And, we still want a young player like Scoot or Brandon Miller. And at this point, if we do trade 3-team, it could look something like this. So the Trailblazers, we know what they want. They want to help Dame win now. So we could do a 3-team trade with the Pelicans. Okay. The Trailblazers can receive either Ingram or Zion, whatever. We can get number 3 in Anthony Simons, who is still a good young player, 20 points a game. We get him, the number 3 pick. We still get Brandon Miller. And if the front office truly has Brandon Miller above Scoot Henderson, that's a win-win. To be able to still get Miller, but you get something else as well, could be a good way to navigate this draft if Brandon Miller is truly who you want, or if they're so close to where getting a player like Anthony Simons with Brandon Miller just tips the scales that much more. 3-team deal could be the way to go. Yeah, man, so in that scenario, obviously the Pelicans would get number 2. They would draft Scoot. We go down, we get 3 Simons. Trailblazers get Ingram or whoever, blah, blah, blah. And there's other ways that could work too. And even in these Zion and Ingram trades, there probably will be other players involved. I know some people want Daniels, Herb Jones. I would love Herb Jones. Like if we get Ingram, Herb Jones, and then if we can get them throwing the 14th pick, because they have the 14th pick as well. So, if we could do that, still get a lottery pick, still get a good young player in Herb Jones and Ingram, how can you turn that down? At least I can. I'm doing that. But yeah, we're visiting all options right now. So on to the next one. Trade for Jaylen Brown. We've heard, Jaylen Brown, initially when Celtics got bounced, they were immediately just rumors with Brown to Portland and da-da-da-da. That's also on the table. So, they said the number 3 pick and Anthony Simons could get Jaylen Brown. So you got to think, okay, the number 2 pick should be enough to get it done. Number 2 in Rozier or number 2 in Hayward, whatever the fuck. It's just an option. If Jaylen Brown was somebody that the Hornets viewed as higher than Ingram or Zion, at the end of the day, he has had the deeper playoff runs. It has to be considered. I know people are kind of on Jaylen Brown right now. Oh, he has no left hand, blah, 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 blah. He's still a winner at the end of the day. He hasn't won a ring, but, he spent basically his entire career in the Eastern Conference Finals. And, that does mean something. Now, this is option G. This is something that really has recently developed today, basically. Bradley Beal, the Wizards have come out and announced that they're going to be trading him or trying to trade him. Them and Beal will be working together to find a trade partner. So basically, it's a done deal as far as him being done in Washington. It's just, where is he going? Also, he's being linked to the Celtics. The Celtics have a lot of, rumors swirling right now. Now, me personally, out of all these options, A through G, trading for Bradley Beal is my least favorite option. He's the oldest player out of all these players that we're talking about. And on top of that, it's just been a decline. The Wizards haven't won shit, haven't done shit. And on top of that, he's not that 30-point per game player that he was a few years ago when he led the NBA in scoring. Now, for the past 2 years, he's basically averaged 23 and 5. That's not an average player, but it's an all-star, borderline all-star, but it's not leading the NBA in scoring. It's just a 7-8 point decrease going from 31 points a game to 23. It's not the same. It just isn't. It's Rockets James Harden and Philly James Harden. It's just two different players. In 2 years in a row, 1 year's a down year, and it'll be one thing if his assists went way up, but his assist numbers are basically still the same, and the points are just way down. And I guess you could contribute that to, them getting Porzingis or whatever. I don't know. But he's not that 30-point per game player, at least not right now. Or he hasn't proven to do that the last 2 years. So to me, that's my least favorite option. But because something that has been swirling, it has to be entertained, because the Hornets are in a point right now where they have to weigh all options, okay? We are close. Now, if you're a Hornets fan, you know that. If you're casual watching this video, you're probably, Hornets are trash. I mean, we did win 20-something games this year. Sometimes your record is what you are. But for the Hornets, that's not the case. When you look at a year ago, we were a 43-win team, coming off our second play-in berth, and we're dealt with injuries that year. We go 0-for-7 in overtimes, which was an NBA record. And just right there off the overtimes, 43 plus 7, that's 50 wins if you guys take care of business and don't go to overtime, or if you win those overtimes. And then we had injuries that year. We had people out with COVID that year. Maybe you could have been a 55, 60-win team. I mean, I know it's a 17-win swing, but hey. And on top of that, we didn't even have a center that year. Our center was fucking Bismack Biyombo, Cody Zeller. Now, fast forward now, Miles Bridges coming back. You now have Mark Williams and Nick Richards solidified as your centers, both double-double threats. Both can defend the rim. So our defense is going to be better. Miles Bridges is back, so the offense is going to be better. And don't forget, we were the best offense in the NBA. So drop Miles back in, and you drop potentially a number 2 pick back in, or an all-NBA type of player with Zion or Brandon Ingram into the mix. Now the Hornets are a real deal team. Like, we're closer than casuals think we are. We are. Like, for real. If we can stay healthy and we make the right move with this pick, we're good for years to come. Which is why this might be the most important pick in Hornets history. It just is, man. Because if we make the wrong pick, the treadmill of mediocrity can continue to run. And with a player like LaMelo Ball, he wants to win. Everybody on this team wants to win. And, guys are going to dip, bro. It just is what it is. Now, me personally, I think LaMelo's staying, bro. LeVar is having a draft watch party with the Crown Club in Charlotte. Stuff like that doesn't happen when your son's going to up and dip. I don't think that's happening. But anything's possible. So we have to win so we can keep our star player happy. It's just how professional sports work. But I really think we can, man. But we have to get this right. So I want y'all to comment down below and y'all let me know what y'all think we should do. There is a lot of options, and for the first time in a long time, the Hornets have a lot of options. Now, me personally, I don't believe a lot of these leaks coming out saying that we favor Brandon Miller, and it could definitely be true. At the end of the day, college basketball is more readily available to watch than the G League, but that's what NBA teams have scouts for. You don't think they were watching Scoot Henderson's games? They've seen it. I think that the Hornets have done their due diligence, and I think they're going to make the right pick, man. And they're bringing both Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson back on Monday. That's what they want to do, to meet with Michael Jordan. Now, I'm very interested by that because, people on TL kind of joking like, oh, he's going to make them play 1v1. He really might. I don't think the Hornets know what we're going to do. That's why I don't believe these leaks, because the Hornets don't have leaks. Most of the time, the Hornets have no clue what we're going to do because we're picking 11th or 12th, and there's so many other moving parts to where we don't control our own destiny. Right now, we control our own destiny. The Hornets basically have the number 1 pick in this draft. The Spurs, foregone conclusion, Wemby, boom. So at this point, the draft starts at number 2. We basically have the number 1 pick. Nobody knows what we're going to do. I don't think we know what we're going to do, which is fine. because we need to weigh all of our options for these next 6 days. Up until we're on the clock, we need to be weighing our options. And on draft day, it can get even crazier because now you have people calling, trying to get deals done. So we got to do our due diligence. And I could definitely see Michael Jordan making Brandon Miller and Scoot Henderson play 1-versus-1, and whoever wins is the number 2 pick. I could definitely see that happening. I could definitely see it happening. But something I wanted to put in here just because I did all the research. Gordon Hayward, we talked about his how many games he's done played. He is on the last year of his contract, so I wouldn't mind keeping him. If a trade was to happen, though, with Ingram or Zion, he might go back just for salary, but I would like to keep him just so he can expire next year and we can have that salary cap to add somebody to this roster. But like I said, in the last 4 years, he's played 195 games. Last 3 years, 143. Zion, last 4 years, 114 games. He played 29 games this year. He did not play at all last year. 2021, he played 61 games. In his rookie year, he played 24 games. 29 games in the last 2 years is fucking atrocious. Brandon Ingram, I already talked about him. 45 games this year, 61 last year. No, 55 last year, 61 in 2021, and 62 in 2020. That's 161 games in 3 years, 223 in 4 years. So he's out there a little bit more than Gordon, a lot more than Zion. But I just want to point out, man, that Ben Simmons has played more basketball in 4 years than Zion has. In 4 years, Ben Simmons has played 157 games. He's played 60 more games than Zion. 63 to be exact. 63 more games. No, I'm tripping. I'm tripping. 43. He's played 43 more games than Zion in the last 4 years. And he doesn't play at all. So like that should show you how much of a risk it is to trade for Zion. Ben Simmons plays more than him, and he doesn't play at all. And then Anthony Simons, somebody who, with the Trailblazers in the mix, you never know if we trade down. In the last 3 years, he's played 183 games. Last 4 years, 253. So he's even played more than Ingram. He's pretty reliable. He played 62 games this year, 57 last year. 64 in 2021 and 70 games his rookie year. So he's the only player up here to even eclipse 70 games out of any of these people. Ingram, Zion, Hayward, none of these guys have played 70 games in these last few years. So Anthony Simons, I mean, it could be interesting. Brandon Miller and Anthony Simons could be very interesting because Simons is still young and he could be the two of the future, man, because he's looked special at certain times in Portland when Dame wasn't playing, man. He looked like a fucking beast. Now, but Terry Rozier begs the question, what happens to him if we draft Scoot? What happens to him if we make a trade for another guard? To me, I feel like he's the expendable one on this team just because of the contract and because we've basically seen all that he's going to do with LaMelo Ball. We've seen it. We know what they're going to do. Terry had the best career of his year last year. I mean, best year of his career last year. Jesus Christ, I'm tired. But still wasn't enough to really amount to anything, even though, LaMelo was out. But we kind of know what's up. The defense is not going to be good. It's going to be a lot of shot chucking. We know who Terry Rozier is at this point. Wouldn't hurt me at all to move on from him. And I don't think he's taking a bench role. So my eyes feel like it would be best to move him because I just don't see him taking a bench role. Players like Terry Rozier don't have the best year of their career and then go to the bench. Don't see it happening. Oubre, somebody we know, doesn't have a problem coming off the bench. Miles Bridges back. I mean, Gordon Hayward's probably going to be on the bench. Or at least he should. So, I don't know, man. Roster's going to have to get shaken up probably. But it's all very exciting, man. It's all very exciting. like I said, draft is 6 days away, and I'm definitely going to go live for the draft. So make sure to hop on. If you're in Charlotte, they are doing, a viewing party there. You can get your tickets for free on Ticketmaster and just go. But I live in Raleigh, so I will not be doing that. I will be watching it from home. But feel free to jump on the live with me. I'm going to tweet the link out, so make sure you're following me on Twitter at BuzzBoys919. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And YouTube just changed the rules, so if you have 500 subscribers, you can now start getting paid on YouTube versus the 1,000. So I think I got like 450 something. So it's time to grind so I can start getting paid for doing this, because I love doing this, and I know I haven't been doing it lately, but it hasn't really been too much to talk about. I mean, at the end of the day, the draft still wasn't here, so I mean, it hasn't been too much to talk about. But after this, definitely gonna be plenty of content after the draft, going into summer league. It's gonna be plenty to talk about, so I'll be doing a lot more videos, and I can't wait for the season to get here. I can't wait for the Panther season to start. Trust me, I got a lot of content coming for you guys. Just gotta bear with me. But you guys know I love y'all support. And like I said, look, y'all comment down below. I want to hear option A, Scoot; option B, Miller; C, Zion; D, Ingram; E, 3-team trade; F, Jaylen Brown; G, Bradley Beal; or you know what, comment down below if you want to see the Hornets do something else. Just let me know what you guys want to do, what you guys think. Anyways, I appreciate you guys for staying with me for 26 going on 27 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.